Time for some reminiscence, Christian.
Okay, you
like
ready?
that?
Let's start it over.
I just started it.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
You see that's how it is. It's loose. You know what I mean? Welcome to the Class Blend Podcast 73.
This is where we're going to talk about all the properties we had during the week. Yep. We're going to go a little more in depth.
The week of what now? August 22nd, 2018.
This is the week.
This is what we had. So if you're listening to this, it might be Friday, or it might be the day after Friday, or it might be sometime
Saturday?
in the future after Friday. Anytime in the existence of the world, Chris.
Whoa.
From that day on, that Friday of the week of August 22nd on, the world is divided into two halves, Chris. Before this came out and after this came out. This is going to be available forever starting now.
Listen, I'm not going to argue with anything you're saying.
You know what I mean?
But let's just jump into it, Kenny.
Let's go.
Earlier we had, in the beginning of this week, we had Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah, well, we're real quick. We're going to just give you a little recap. Maybe you're listening to this and you didn't watch the episodes. You don't need to watch the episodes to listen to this. And
you don't need to watch them, but you know what? You should because
you should. But here's what I'm saying. Maybe they haven't, and they need to just know what is it we do on the show.
I just want to know.
What do we do? Oh. I get a property. Chris gets a property, right?
Randomly generated. We don't know what each other has.
Movies.
TV.
Then TV.
Video games.
Yep. And this episode had cartoons.
Cartoons.
So what happens is we get this. We'll reveal them to each other, and we'll talk about them. Tell a little bit of tidbits, facts, and then we're going to make a new sequel.
80 shared universe.
80 shared universe is what
everything.
It is all
we're
about.
Connecting everything to everything. But before we jump into it, I just got to say, you guys that are listening to this, if you're an avid viewer of the videos, you'll know that Kenny's not this mellow. When we do the podcast version of this, he likes to wind down. He likes to have a little glass of wine. He likes to just chill out and like let it just be nice and loose. He's not stressed for the other things. You know what I'm saying? He's just enjoying the end result of all the silly things that we've done. You know what I'm saying? So having said all that, Kenny has left the building and now he's back. Boom. Did you see that? You didn't even see that. That was so quick.
You just reminded me of Boom Burger.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's delicious. All
right, so let's recap what we did.
Yeah, so in the episode of for the movies, I had Casualties of War.
I can't take your mellow voice. You're killing me.
Can't take it.
Can I have Casualties of War? I had Earth Girls Are Easy.
How about you do this as a normal person? I'm doing ASMR. I had Casualties of War.
Oh, please, no more ASMR. No, stop. People aren't here for ASMR, okay? Earth Girls Are Easy. Kenny, I cannot believe you haven't seen this movie.
I haven't.
All right?
I haven't.
Are you going to watch this movie?
Maybe one day I will.
Commentary.
In ASMR.
No, come on, stop. We're not doing ASMR commentary. And so when Kenny was rubbing the microphone, I was watching. Yeah, there he is again, and I was watching. Sorry, it's a joke from 1987. Here's the thing. Kenny never saw Earth Girls Are Easy. I love this movie. Damon Wayans, Carrie Fisher, what? Jim Carrey, or as one time he was probably known, James Carrey. Those two men, like you mentioned it in the video, that they were in. What?
Did you mention Jeff Goldblum?
Not yet. I didn't get to the Goldblum yet.
You're saving it? You were saving the gold for last?
Saving the Goldblum for last. Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans were buddy pals in this movie. They were two aliens.
So you've seen it? You've seen it?
Of course. They played Vigo and Whiplock with their names, and they...
Never seen it.
You sucked because you didn't see it, but they were also on In Living Color together. Yes,
they were. We brought that up in the episode.
The Goldblum plays Mac. Now,
what year was this?
1989. Here's
89?
89.
Oh gosh, I thought this was a lot earlier.
They were all furry aliens.
Yeah.
They
So this was post The Fly Goldblum.
Yes. Oh yeah. He was a sex symbol at this point.
Yeah, well, still is.
They were traveling the galaxy, and they were sorely missing out on some female companionship.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
They saw a video broadcast from the Earth of chicks in like bikinis and stuff like that. Okay, And they were like, let's go down there. And they crash land in Gina Davis's pool. And this is what happens. And they're all covered in fur. Jeff Goldblum is blue. One of them is yellow and one of them is red. I forget who's who. But here's the thing. They meet them, they talk, and she has a friend, Julie Brown.
Sure does.
Who they work at that curled up and dye hair salon.
Fact.
Curl up as in curler and dye as in hair dye. And they shave their entire bodies and find out that they're human looking under there and they're kind of attractive. So this is what happens. Gina Davis falls for Mac. Jeff Goldblum's Mac. Here's the thing, though. Okay, so Gina Davis plays Valerie, who's catches her doctor boyfriend cheating on her, right? Breaks up with him. Later in the movie, one of them they get into like a car accident and stuff, and they all go to the hospital, and these creatures have two hearts. So the doctor is operating on them, sees that he has two hearts, and he's like, oh my God, I can exploit this. I can like make myself rich and stuff. And then he gets convinced that he's just like tired and didn't see that. It's so weird. It's 80s, man. It's like classic end of 80s, like, oh, you didn't see that. And he's like, oh, wait, maybe I didn't see that, you know?
Weird.
Yeah, and she ends up getting on the spaceship at the end of the movie. The reason I'm giving you all this information is because Casualties of War was very depressing.
Yes.
Good movie.
I saw this movie years ago, probably sometime in the 90s. I think I had rented it. But, yeah, it's not something that I feel like I need to experience again. There are a lot of movies where it's like a one-time view. But then there's somebody out there who owns this on Blu-ray. You know what I mean? That's just like, man, I really need to watch Casualties of War. It's like, dude, really? Really? You don't watch that? Like, I used to have a Saving Private Ryan right on DVD.
I still have it on DVD.
But that's the thing. It's like, when was the last time you saw it?
Honestly,
yes.
It's not open.
Right.
And I've always meant to open
but it's one of those things, like, I just want to watch something fun. You know?
Such a good movie, though.
I know, but sometimes it's all you need to see is once, right?
Yeah.
And
no, but I want to see it again.
So
because it's a good movie.
But you're not going to be like, you watch it and be like, I'm going to watch that again. Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Right? I got that.
I have that too.
A widescreen VHS years ago, okay?
Yeah.
And that was one of those movies where I never saw it before. All right, so it came out and I was like, all right, I could watch Evil Dead 2. I was big into the widescreen before the DVDs came out.
Right.
And I was all over that movie in it because I saw Army of Darkness. My friend had showed it to me saying, you never saw Army of Darkness? No. So I watched Army of Darkness and then Evil Dead 2 came out. And I was like, oh, this was the, well, I always used to say, like, I don't want to see Army of Darkness yet because I haven't seen Evil Dead 2.
Right.
And I heard Evil Dead 2 was the prequel, all that stuff. Yeah, it's true and all that stuff. Okay, cool. So Evil Dead 2 comes out. He made me watch Army of Darkness. I'm like, this was great.
I want to see
Evil Dead 2. So now I want to see Evil Dead 2 when it comes out.
Evil Dead, though? You saw the first one?
I watched them all in reverse. It was reverse order.
Okay, no, but that's cool, though.
Yeah. So, because obviously they got more popular.
Yeah.
So Evil Dead 2 comes out. I watch it by myself, rewound it, and watched it again.
Really?
Yes.
I've never done that.
And nobody's done that with Saving Private Ryan. Like, it's basically what I'm saying. Nobody's done it with Casualties.
Probably.
No.
Probably. I'm sure someone has.
Not even Steven Spielberg. No. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, like, you want to watch something. Sometimes you just want to watch something fun, something enjoyable. Evil Dead 2 was enjoyable, and I was like, that movie was so well made, so much fun to go through that movie that I needed to experience it again right away. And I've never to this day, never before that, have I ever done that with a movie.
No, that's not true.
I did have The Wizard where I played it from morning. From sun up to sundown, I played it.
Friends slept over.
That was something different. I've seen the movie before. I saw it in the movie theater. It finally came out on VHS. I only had it from Blockbuster for a couple days.
From a movie that you'd seen once and then you wanted to watch it.
Yes.
Okay. So look, what we did with these movies, we combined them. We called it Space Salon. You said I was going to regret it.
Yes,
I do regret it. But I told you that right away.
100% do.
We're taking Michael J. Fox and we're sending him to space where Gina Davis has set up a Space Salon.
Yes.
Here's now, hold on. That is a classic. Tell me that's not a classic
80s
sequel trope. Yeah. That's I feel like that's perfect, right?
It's perfect. That's all you need.
Calling it Space Salon. I mean, what would you call it?
What would I call it?
If you didn't want to do Space Salon,
I'd call it Astronauts Are Easy. Or astronauting is easy.
Oh, you said astronauting is easy. Yeah, I mean that's.
I'm sorry, I have a poison ivy. I'm just like scratching my finger.
Don't touch anything. Then.
I know. Well, you can't catch it.
So I mean, look, we can change to astronauting is easy.
No, we're not going to change it.
Oh, fine.
No, keep it spaceful.
All right. So why don't we do this? let's be done with that one.
Yes,
You want to move the TV?
We're moving
Let's
to
move
TV.
TV.
Yeah, At the Movies with Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert was my jam.
I had One Day at a Time.
He sure did.
The super review with Siskel and Ebert.
Yes. Now listen. Well, that's the thing. One Day at a Time. It was a show that I watched. It was one of those shows that you watch with the family, right? It came on, all that stuff. Now Schneider, I thought you were going to mention, was he or was he not on You Can't Do That on Television?
Okay.
Because you did not mention that in the actual episode.
Well, maybe I was saving it.
Oh, she was young.
Oh yeah, they were all very young. Oh God.
Wow.
Valerie Bertinelli was and Mackenzie Phillips. They were all really young. Yeah, of course they were.
She looks like she didn't know she was going to get a picture taken.
Oh my God, you're killing me by doing this.
She looks like she didn't.
She
the
was
mom
like,
is like in the promo picture.
All right, please stop touching this so I can go to it. Okay.
Poison ivy fingers.
He died, huh?
What?
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Pat Harrington Jr. Couldn't read it because you took it right from me.
Oh my gosh, January 6th, 2016.
Oh, 2016?
Yeah.
Sucks.
I didn't know that. Darn.
Wouldn't it just be easier if I had put in You Can't Do That on Television?
No, just go to his cast list. Watch.
I'm trying.
Go to career.
I was in career. That's where I am.
That shouldn't be there. There should be a whole list of.
I don't see it. Do you see it? Yeah. Let's go to him on IMDb. Anyway, so we Siskel and Ebert heard him reviewing movies, and he said,
Excuse me.
and he said,
Oh, I can't believe he died.
and he said, hey, I think we want you to come in and help review us. And he's like, oh, great, I love movies. I'll review movies. And they're like, no, we want you to review the jobs that superintendents do.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're gonna review all the superintendents.
Yeah. Whoa.
What year is that? What year?
It's gonna be in the 80s.
Man, he was working before that too, huh?
Oh yeah. He was doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think that's funny, man. I find that funny. Oh my God, this guy did so much stuff. One Day at a Time, Comedy Factory, Garfield Christmas. No, I'm not seeing him here, man. You Can't Do That on Television. I don't see him on here. He wasn't on here. All right. Well, what are you gonna do, man? He was on Hot in Cleveland. It was the last thing he was on.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's interesting. That's funny, right? That's a funny thing to have.
What's a funny thing to have?
The show we made with him, man. Come on.
Yeah. The superintendents like
What are we
reviews.
talking about here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were young. They were super young, man. Valerie Bertinelli. They were so young. The show ran from 75 to 84, man. You know. What a like
Huh.
a
I guess he wasn't on
What
that
a
show. Why did I
weird-
think he was?
because there was a dude that looked like him. This was a weird premise for a sitcom, wasn't it?
That one? What with the?
A divorced family, and then
But that's the thing. It was probably a buzzy kind of thing back then.
Well,
It's edgy. It was edgy.
Yeah. That's what they do.
You know what I mean?
That's what they do,
Yeah.
right? That's what they do.
Sure.
I don't know, man. What did you have again? Siskel and Ebert.
Siskel and Ebert at the movies.
They fight each other. People like that, huh?
People like the bickering. People like that stuff.
We bicker a lot.
So that's some of the stuff
like
we
to
get.
bicker.
Yeah, we do like to bicker.
If you ever watch the live stream of us, chances are you're on
gonna
Twitch and
you're
YouTube,
gonna catch stuff in
chances are
between
you're
episodes
gonna
and
catch
stuff like that.
Yeah, you're gonna catch us arguing about stuff. It's hilarious.
I guess this guy I thought was him.
Yeah. Oh, Les Lie?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It looks
No,
nothing like
that
him.
was
I
the
don't
that was
know.
the dad and the cook and or whatever. Remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always thought that Schneider.
It was on You Can't Do That on Television.
Oh, I don't know. He was, dude. He was. He was like the stage manager, wasn't he? No, that's
That's the stage manager.
I thought it was Schneider.
What's his name? Look.
Let's lie.
Oh, Les Lie. Yeah, no, that
I
was
always
him.
think that
You're
was
just thinking the
Schneider?
mustache. Listen, you got mustache. You got 80s mustache on your brain, man.
Holy cow!
What
I
year
always
was-
thought Schneider was
What year
that.
was You Can't Do That on Television?
81. Oh, aired locally in 79 before airing internationally in 1981.
Wow. Okay.
Teenage sketch comedy.
I love that show. That was such a cool show. It was Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Of course it was. Everything. Most of our childhood shows were Canadian.
Yep. I don't know who that
Good
is.
on you, Canada. Good on you.
Yeah, national television in Canada.
All right, you want to? All right, we good with that then? You have anything left to say about your show or my show?
Me? No.
I mean, Siskel and Ebert, they had a run, didn't they?
They had a run.
They had quite a run.
Yeah. Show's on hiatus right now. They said because I guess Ebert died. Siskel died, then Ebert died.
But they weren't on the show
Ebert and
anymore.
Roper.
Then Roper.
But then
Richard Roper came
they
on.
put it on hiatus, and I mean, it could come back as Roper and so and so. You never know. But right now,
Where does
never.
it air
I don't think
now?
ever been canceled.
What channel does it even air on
I think
now?
it was syndication.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to cartoons.
Stupid cartoons.
So,
listen,
listen. You told me. What did you tell me? You told me.
I was gonna say that, everything's randomly generated on the show. Mm-hmm. That's our thing. And my surprise for Chris was Alvin and the Chipmunks. That's what I got. And the thing is, I just feel like it's the same content coming up over and over again. Like, I understand we never mixed the Chipmunks with Silverhawks. We did it with Pac-Man. Right? And we mixed the Smurfs with whatever the heck we mixed the Smurfs with. Freaking Berenstain Bears or something goofy like that one time, right? And we did something else real recently with the Smurfs. But I just feel like it's one of those... There's just not enough variety for me. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's like owning a gosh, I don't even know what to say.
Can't think of a metaphor.
I'm thinking my metaphor is going to be like something like it's like owning an Atari 7800, where you're like, all right, I have 30 games, but it's like here's an NES where you have like 800 something games. You know what I mean? Like, you have more of a chance of plucking something really good from an NES collection than you do
I hear you.
A 7800 collection.
Right, but this is also why we started the toy section.
Right, yes, I understand that.
Split that,
but
and
still,
not have to pull.
even at half the frequency that it used to be.
The problem with cartoons is many are similar, many are made from the same people, and it's like, what really can you do? Like, what? I mean... If you think about it, it's like, is it really any different than TV shows or movies? It's the same plots. Movies are all the same.
But the thing is, they'll come out with it. They'll say Smurfs ran from 82 to 87, and then Smurfs ran from 89 to 95, and then Smurfs ran from, you know what I mean? Like, they'll just come out with these things like Mighty Mouse. Like, Mighty Mouse, stop. Like Mighty Mouse and Smurfs and Snorks, and yeah, the stuff was good, and you watched as a kid, right? But look at kids shows now and see what's successful. Yeah. Chris, do you think you are any better than children today? Because back then, when you look at this and you say, the Thunderhawks wasn't, or sorry, not Thunderhawks, Silverhawks or I was going to say Thundercats or whatever like that, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't that good. Masters of the Universe wasn't that good looking back on it, right? Looking back on it, you can see the nostalgic factor. In play.
I'm going to have to agree with you.
But what I'm going to say is kids get plopped in front of that TV, and back then there wasn't much to watch. Now there is. But everything still lasts forever because they market the heck out of it, and kids will watch anything. If they see it on TV, they want it on their backpack.
Here's the thing. The reason why there was a lot, but there wasn't. And the reason was because when were cartoons on?
Saturday mornings.
Right.
Or after school.
So they were the ones that are syndicated that run after school for like 300 something episodes a year. Then you have the Saturday morning stuff, which you only watch once a week.
Right.
So, I mean, there isn't that much. But I still think, man, look, I got Silverhawks, and I was like, yes. I've been waiting to get Silverhawks. And I want to talk more about it because I love this show. Now,
we can talk more about Silverhawks, but I just before we change the train of thought.
Yeah.
I just have this kind of weird thing to say. Like, you did mention that the only time cartoons were on was Saturday mornings or after school.
Right.
You stayed home from school. What did you watch?
Nickelodeon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I told you. David the Gnome, Maya the Bee.
Oh, see, that stuff
Pinwheel was on.
That stuff was garbage to me.
Pinwheel
it was garbage. I used to stay home or
Price
even
is Right.
Even well, that was the thing.
Then my mom watched
the Yodeler with the cliff. Oh
yep.
God, I love that one. And Plinko. Or
yeah. Then my mom watched soap operas. So if I wasn't playing video games
but that was the thing is you played, right?
Yeah.
You were in your room. You were doing whatever you needed to do, something like that, or
played.
like right if there was like a vacation day,
unless you were
right
sick
from school.
And
Yeah, but that was the thing. Like if it was like a vacation day and you were home from school.
Yeah.
Like that's what it was. Like I know there were like morning talk shows like Regis and Kathy Lee or something like that that I used to watch, like stuff like that. Like when I was home on the day. But that's the thing. There's nothing, so you kind of force yourself to go in the room. Now kids have Netflix. Now kids have like 24-hour, commercial channels, YouTube. There's all this stuff where kids are constantly being bombarded with this stuff.
YouTube. YouTube. It's like
It's insane. Anyway, talk about Silverhawks.
thing about-
Because I have nothing to say about Alvin and the Chipmunks.
except how depressing it was.
It was a depressing
When you
film,
look
man.
deep into it,
Yeah.
and not
Mom
for
gave
nothing.
them up. Their cat got hit by a
But
car.
not for nothing, cartoons were depressing back then. Like
But
they
that-
just,
yeah,
they
that's
just,
it.
it was
It
part of the thing.
But
The
I don't want to
zeitgeist
say
of that
I don't want to
stuff.
say it prepared you for the real world. You know what I mean?
Please, no.
But the thing was, there's good and evil in the world, and unfortunately, they stripped that out of all cartoons today, where everything's just silly and
that
goofy.
premise of being left behind or being given up, that's not a thing anymore.
Right.
Though I will
Well,
say, like they
Punky
do, like
Brewster.
parents died, and no, that was '80s.
I know what I'm saying. That was like.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like
Back
that was
then, they
harsh.
weren't afraid to do it.
Yeah.
They weren't afraid to do it.
But
All right, so
but hold on, real quick. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is out, right? That's been out for years.
yeah,
Pete was the bad guy in Mickey Mouse, right?
yeah.
He's like their
Well,
buddy now.
he's still a bad
He's
guy.
still a
From
little
what
bit
I
there and stuff
remember,
like that.
he's still
But he's not.
he's not the baddest guy.
Like that's
he's not
the thing
evil.
Is, like, why can't they show like be a good person? Like, how do you balance showing a kid how to be a good person if there's nothing bad?
Well, that's the point. Yeah.
to
so you just
oppose
answered
him,
the
you
question.
know what I mean?
That's the point. You have to have a quote.
It's always like,
unquote
oh
bad guy.
no, this cat has a water spot on its head. How do we get it off? And it's like, use the towel. You know, and it's not.
the towel,
it's
you
not
idiot.
really that.
But this is years and years of child.
It is.
Psychologists,
It is.
quote, unquote.
They fixed something that wasn't broken because we're not messed up. Guess what? All the kids growing up now are because you see what happened. No, we're not.
No, but you know what? We're more grounded. I feel like we
We're grounded.
have
We
more
have a realistic
of a base
point of view, and we
than these
understand.
kids. Our kids are screwed. Essentially.
But that's the thing is that's what we need to do.
Well, that's
you need
why-
to filter that in.
yeah.
As our generation, we need to do that. Filter it in because kids don't understand. If you don't show them right from wrong, they're not going to understand right from wrong.
Right,
and
yeah.
unfortunately, kids growing up by the TV don't understand
Or
right from
Netflix.
wrong because they're not going to get right from wrong from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. They're not going to get right from wrong from watching a One Direction video.
You know
what
I
I'm
mean, I definitely agree, but you got to give some of these shows merit for that because they do. But it's so canned. It's so spoon-fed. It's like, are they really getting it? I cannot tell you how many Disney shows I've watched with these young actors and
That
actresses.
you think are fantastic. You think they are national
Sound
treasures.
funny. Listen, when
He's
you,
like, you know what? They're pretty good.
well,
and I'm like,
listen,
I know they're
when your
not.
kid's 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, and they're watching the show, and
Yeah.
you're forced to, to watch it because you want to spend time with the kid,
It's fun.
it's-
gotcha.
Anyway, look, the point is, Silverhawks was awesome because they were cyborgs, and I love them.
good.
And they had something that, one, they could fly. I always love flying. Two, I always loved the metal aspect of it.
Remember The
Every
Boy
time
Who Could Fly? I was thinking about that the other day. I feel like that's a movie that I need to watch.
then just fly, dude. What are you doing?
What are you doing,
Get out,
Boy Who
jump
Could
out the
Fly?
window and
What are you talking
fly.
about? The Boy Who Could Fly? What? He didn't fly?
No.
Yeah, he did.
At the very end.
See, I don't really remember.
I'm
it that
remembering
much.
correctly.
I remember watching it in school one
It was
time.
this
We had like a
whole
party
big
one day.
thing. It was like,
and we watched
oh.
it. And I just remember him flying everywhere, man. Like that's my memory
Really?
of The Boy Who Could Fly.
I don't remember that at all.
That's why I don't ever revisit this stuff. Don't watch it again. You know what I mean?
So wait, I
think of
hold
that
on.
movie, and I just think of him just like,
Hold on.
with
So
like a
this
girl
week-
on his back, right? He like brought a girl
But
with him,
that's
or
at
held
the end.
hands.
At the end. This is so I get Earth Girls Are Easy, right?
Yeah.
And I tell my wife, I'm like, oh, I got Earth Girls Are Easy. Let's watch it. She's like, no, it's old.
What?
She's like,
won't
no,
watch it?
and I'm like, she's like, I can't go back to that stuff.
Really?
Not to say that she doesn't like that stuff.
Yeah.
But she's like, I just can't go back. Tell my kids, let's watch the Goonies. Let's watch this. Let's watch that. And they're like,
Goonies.
oh, but it's old.
It holds up so. That's
But
the
it's like,
thing.
what-
The
what do
80s
you
is probably the
mean?
first decade that movies, it doesn't matter. Like, because you were born in the
So
70s.
like Hitchcock movies and the 80s.
Right.
The only ones you can go back
Well,
to.
that's the thing is,
Well,
you were
some
born in the
anyway.
70s. Can you watch
Yeah.
movies from the 70s?
No.
Can you watch movies from the 60s?
No.
Okay, so kids born in the 80s, can they watch movies in the 80s? Yes. Can kids born from the 90s watch movies from the 80s? Yes.
Yes.
Can kids born today watch movies from the 80s? Yes.
But do they?
Yeah, I do believe they do, because I do believe that there's still Star Wars is huge, Indiana Jones is huge.
Yeah, but
there was a decade, that was the decade that changed everything. And yes, you can go back to 1977 and say it's Star Wars. You can say it was 72 Jaws,
Right.
and say that that's what started this blockbuster where these must-see movies, these event films came out that will never get remade, right?
Yeah,
That'll
but
just keep
but
going
kids, the
they've
way
remade-
things look now.
they've remade RoboCop, Chris.
I know.
and it failed miserably. They're making a sequel now to the original RoboCop.
Which stinks because they're getting rid of RoboCop 2, which was awesome.
RoboCop 2 is one of my most hated movies.
I really
of
just
all
want to
time.
talk about Silverhawks.
I know
really
that.
love
I'm so sorry, but I'm
Silverhawks.
just saying that it's just one of those crazy things that the 80s. That's the key. That's the key to the universe. Is the 1980s. There's something in the 1980s that will unlock the secrets.
Am I
of the
sitting here
world.
with you? Yeah, man. I know.
You know what I'm saying?
We're doing this because of that.
That's what it is. That's it. So tell me, Chris.
Look,
about
I
Silverhawks.
just really want. I'm not gonna lie. I did watch the first episode this week. It's not great, but
Is it Deke?
but it's not Deke, but it's just good though.
I mean, it was a time. It was a snapshot of time.
Dude, they're in space. They go to fly in space. They go like this, and they pull masks down over their face, and they have the wings, and they fly. And
I just feel like
Monstar turns into this big metal guy, dude.
I just feel like this was when
Yes, man,
cartoons.
Buzzsaw, Mumbo Jumbo. Hold on. Never in any kid show will you find more hyphen bad guy names. Yes, man, Mumbo Jumbo, Molecular, all broken off in hyphens.
How many hyphens are in
Poker
molecular?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow, 4 hyphens.
Molecular.
It's got even one letter with hyphens around it.
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty
good.
impressive.
Poker face. I starred and wrote so many hyphens.
Listen, this is where I'm going to say that I feel like they just started to go off the rails.
The thing is, this was Thundercats in space, and that's
Because
what it
everything was
supposed
like,
to be.
okay, you look at this stuff and you say, okay, we had He-Man, right, in the early to mid 80s, right?
Yeah.
We had He-Man. Then it's like, oh, we have Transformers, which change into things. And then it's like, oh, we have Mask, which changes into things. Oh, we Silverhawks, which changes. They just started stacking things, right? Like, sorry, He-Man,
No,
Prince
you're
Adam
saying
and He-Man turned into it and everything.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
took the.
They just kept doing this combo thing where you couldn't just have a character go through something.
We loved it.
I know. Everything they just stacked it.
Did
They're
you
like,
see the new one,
Transformers
He-Man?
did that. We're doing
wore tights?
Transformers with this, and they're in space, and they're doing all this.
It's no good.
I know.
Because they tried to break away from what you're saying.
I know. They tried to.
The 90s versions of cartoons, not
were garbage.
good.
I know.
Not good.
They were extreme.
We didn't really talk about our combined thing called Copper Kid and the Chipmunks.
We don't need to. I don't even remember what it was.
Copper Kid.
Oh, he joins the band.
Yeah, he's their beatbox. Remember how Herbie was the beatbox for that stupid gang band? All right,
what was that for?
I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about it. Here we go. Let's move to Alex Kidd, the game section. Let's round this out. This little podcast with. I had Alex Kidd in Miracle World for Master System, and you had what did you have again?
I had Cadillacs and Dinosaurs in the second Cataclysm.
So dumb. We made a game called Save Alex Kidd. It's an on-rails shooter for the Sega CD where you're protecting somebody on screen who's playing Alex Kidd on the Master System, and you have to shoot the things around him so he can finish the level.
So yeah, you can play the game. Yeah, I guess so.
I mean,
things are
look,
attacking him as he's playing the game.
It's not our best, but then again, these games are horrible. Yeah. Alex Kidd, what are you doing? You're not Mario. Sorry, Master System. You have crappy box art. Your graphics were not horrible.
Every single box art. And you know what's funny? The Genesis came out,
Yeah.
and then the box art, they had like a little bit more elaborated graphics, but it had the black background with the white checkers.
Right.
Or whatever, the grid. Yeah. And so they kind of like carried that over, and then they ditched it.
The thing with the Master System is it looked like my PC. It looked like the PC I had. You know?
How do you mean, like
the graphics? The graphics.
Okay.
That's what they were programmed like. Those before, like it was before VGA graphics, right? No VGA. Remember VGA? I used to have the 4-color. What was it? EGA? No. What was the CGA? It was CGA that had 4 colors: cyan, magenta, like yellow, and like white.
Yeah, I didn't have computers.
And I had a game called Future Wars on the computer, and I only had a CGA monitor. And then my dad one day brought home a VGA monitor.
Really?
And oh boy, 16 colors. Oh boy, beautiful.
Really?
Beautiful. I played the whole game over again.
Did you do Gauss? The Gauss?
No, it didn't have that.
The
back
Gauss?
then.
The Gauss?
Didn't have that back then. Oh yes, it did.
Did it?
The Gauss?
Everything.
I think it did.
Freaking throw a.
But I absolutely loved it. I thought it was beautiful. I loved it. It was so good. Anyway, those graphics remind me of like the computer grade. They were clean and like Commander Keen and like anything from Apogee. Remember? Apogee?
I always thought it was Apogee.
Apogee, yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
how I said it, yeah.
It's like all those games. Tengen. How do you say that stuff?
Yeah, I said Tengen.
Right, ASCII.
Tengen.
That was another one.
Well, ASCII's like text, so yeah.
Well, yeah, now you know that, but back in the day, did you know how to say that?
Oh yeah,
Like
no, yeah.
ASCII-ware, I always thought it was.
No, I used
I
to
never
ask.
knew it was ASCII.
It's my dad. I think my dad said.
Oh, really? So yeah, so there's all these game companies. I have no idea. Kemco, Sega. You know, like, did we say that stuff right? We couldn't even say Ninja Gaiden right. Right? It's Ninja Gaiden. That's the weirdest thing in the world. When the Wizard came out, Wizard.
So here.
Yeah, it's so hard to point.
Yeah,
when the Wizard came out, and the guy's like, Ninja Gaiden, hi, you know, and Gaiden, what are you talking about, dude? It changed my whole world.
Yeah,
right?
Raiden wasn't Raiden is Raiden though. It's not
Well, that's the
Raiden.
thing. Yeah, Raiden wins. But that was the thing is even when it came home, it was Rayden. But in the arcade, it was Raiden.
That's
There was I guess I don't know. It was from the shooters, the Raiden shooters or something like that. There was a home licensing issue where in the arcades they were allowed to have him Raiden with an I, and at home he had to be spelled with a Y.
Which version of that had the blood?
Of what?
Mortal Kombat. Was it Super Nintendo or Genesis?
Genesis had the blood code in the original game.
Super NES had the blood in it.
No, it had sweat. It was sweat, but you could use the Game Genie and put in a code to make the sweat red.
I had it on Super Nintendo.
I had it on Super NES, and I used to use the Game Genie just to put the blood in.
Yeah.
But it wasn't blood; it was just
Sweat.
It made the sweat red.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't splatter on the ground, but you'd punch the person, and the sweat was on them, and you'd make it red. And I was like, that was the only way I could play the game, you know.
Love that game. I wrote up the.
But
KB
Mortal Kombat
toys,
2 was fantastic on the Super NES. It was perfect.
It was good. It was really good.
You know.
Anyway, so our game sucked. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, you want to know the plot of this stupid game? No, you don't want to know the plot of this
Let's talk about the plot. Tell me.
Alex Kidd?
Yeah.
A young martial artist named Alex Kidd one day learns of a villain named Jenkin.
That was a real yawn.
Jenkin, I know. Jenkin the Great, who has defeated King Thunder.
But this is a sign of the times also. This is them just sitting there just spewing things out, and they're like, kidnaps like a dog. No.
My favorite is that he's a young martial artist.
This is just something.
He looks like a monkey.
Dude, do you remember writing comic books when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Did you write like comic books and make characters and stuff like that? Of
course.
Did they ever go through a second draft? Nope.
Mine did.
Yours did?
Okay, so here's the thing. I had a character.
Well, anyway, it sounds like somebody just wrote stuff, and it's just like, nope, that's the game. That's the
I'm not even
backstory.
gonna finish that, but
You
I
know
want to
what
talk about my comic books. So I had a comic book, and the character I first character I ever not the first I created, but one of my first real comic book characters' name was Eclipse, and he was a dragon. Okay, and I had him go through a lot of things in his life. At the same time, one of my best friends, he's like a year older than me, my buddy Mike, he was a way better artist than me, but I tried. Yeah. And he came up with martial arts Woody. So Woody Woodpecker was a martial artist, and he had a brother named Alan. And so my buddy Mike moved away, and for years after that, we draw our comics for each other. And every few months, we'd send each other issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, like up to whatever, and we'd get them. And I couldn't wait to finish reading Martial Arts Woody and like see whatever. And he had such great stories, and I used to write stories. I had all these characters and stuff like Crabman, Quicksilver, which is I took from Silverhawks. I took the name, but he was at the time I was big and I loved rollerblading, and I gave him like this elongated helmet, bike helmet, but that came down over his eyes, and I gave him rocket rollerblades. Oh gosh! And I gave him a metal body like Quicksilver, like the Silverhawks. Eclipse was a dragon that breathed fire and he could fly, and a Crabman was essentially a bipedal crabman. And he had I gave him a crab head and stuff, and he had lots of armor and muscles. And I made all these bad guys, and they all went through some heavy stuff. Crabman got speared through the chest at one point and died. And Quicksilver he was like a mix of the Flash and Quicksilver. He was really fast, and he tried to help, and he ended up getting thrown to another dimension. And Eclipse basically died and came back to life as version 2.0. Yeah. And I gave him a black mask as opposed to just having nothing on. And I gave him this black thing, and it was so cool, man. So cool, man. I don't know. I'm just telling you, man.
I know. I'm listening to it.
I loved it. I did.
I didn't get that involved with mine, but
I did, man.
My main guy, I had a guy named Disaster. His name was Disaster, and basically I had the origin of Disaster, and it was just a dude getting shot up like RoboCop, right? and then he had like a metal face and all that stuff. He kind of looked like the Terminator, like ridiculous. You know.
How far did you get into that?
I got into that. I just drew pictures and stuff. There was another guy called Armor who was like Bionic Commando. He had like sunglasses on, and then he had an arm that would like grapple things and stuff like that. And Armor, Armer.
That's awesome, man.
You know, stuff like that. So I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so those were my characters. I think there was another one that was like a clown. I forget what I called him. He was like a clown, but he had like a butterfly knife.
Yeah.
And like a hat, you know, thing. He was like a bad guy. And then there was another dude in like a trench coat. I don't remember what his name was, but I think he had like a metal jaw. And he was a trench coat. I have all the pictures over there.
Do you?
Yeah. It was absolutely ridiculous. But I tried so hard, you know, and then I tried to make like a panel. Like I just did a 1-page panel. Like that's all I have is 1 page, that I did.
Dude, I got real involved. I actually remember the computer paper from the dot matrix printers.
Yeah, with
how
the
long
green
they were.
And white.
You flip it over, it was just white, and that's where I used to do all my comics on. And I do like 10, 15, sometimes 20 panels to a page. So my comics would only be like 2 pages long. Yeah, and that's what I used to do. That's how I started it.
Okay.
But then later on, I started doing it on computer paper, and I was so into Turtles, Ninja Turtles, I started making my own turtle comics, and I learned how to draw. I had so many turtles. I can't begin to tell you how many turtles I had. I made so many awesome turtles, a mole one, like a leopard one, like and like just so many. I made an electro one. I also had another guy, another tornado guy with Eclipse. But so that was my later series, right? Yeah. And then I had another series of martial artists where I made pairs of them. They all fought and stuff. And what I started doing was I met another guy that used to do comics also. And what I got from him was he used to draw things, cut them out, and place them on a page like you would normally do for like a newspaper and stuff. And then you would photocopy it. So I'd cut out pieces. And so I draw one piece, draw another piece, colored, whatever I was going to do, cut it out, put it on another piece of paper, right? And then I'd have my dad take them to work and photocopy them for me. So I'd have a nice, completed, full thing. That's cool. And I'd do the same thing for if I was drawing a guy out of a panel, like punching or flying or something like that. I'd cut him out and put him on there, you know? Why didn't I just draw it? It was like, because I just felt like it, like, for me, it was like more like, realistic, like, oh, this looks like a real comic book. By me drawing it, then I have to draw the lines, and I'd mess up because of the ruler. I had a huge drawing table, huge, you know, where it lifts up and you can angle it.
Really?
And I had a pencil set, like a thing that I said. I had a lamp that my dad had screwed in for me, like a desk lamp with a thing, like with a scissor arm, and I had not protractor, but the T-square that I put at the top. Like, oh, dude, it was. I had a light box, like I built the light box. Like I was. That's
legit, pretty cool.
Man. I did legit.
That's That's pretty.
I wanted to be a comic artist. That was the first thing I ever wanted to be.
You see,
could have been the first thing I ever wanted to be was a comic artist. You know? But then I got into the digital. Then I got into computers, and I started doing art on the computer, and then it just shifted right there. Yeah,
that's pretty.
Anyway, that's my story. So
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, was a comic book originally.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Silverhawks was too.
Oh really?
Yeah, Silverhawks, like Thundercats and everything. That was also too.
Didn't know that.
All right. So, anything else about this?
I don't think we have anything else to say about this.
I think we wrapped it up.
Yeah, we pretty much wrapped
it up. We got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff in there. I enjoyed the properties that I got, except Alex Kidd.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind Alex Kidd. It's video game history. It's there. They tried so hard. How many sequels and stuff did it have?
Oh, please, I don't freaking know.
Like that's the thing is like just look up Alex Kidd disambiguation and just see.
Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle.
Well, that's the thing is go all the way to.
Stop.
No. You were there.
Right here.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you click it and then you just check out the games. Check out
Yeah, Miracle World, Lost Stars, BMX Trial, High Tech World, Enchanted Castle, and Shinobi World. And they were for Master System, all for Master System except Enchanted Castle, which was Genesis. There's an homage to Alex Kidd and Altered Beast.
They tried so hard to push the Alex Kidd thing, and look at that, right there. I'm looking at 6 Alex Kidd games, 5 on the Master System, 1 on the Genesis,
1 on the arcade.
How many Mario games did we get on the Genesis? Or on the NES?
Well, you got 3.
How many did we get on the Super NES?
1.
4, and there are 6 right there. It's disgusting. You know what I'm saying?
They're not good.
But that's the thing is, to some people, they really are. They really are good. They're charming.
Fine, and that's fine.
That's fine.
Because it's what you
But the Mario
have.
games are what I had and everything like that. And it's unfortunate for me to think that Nintendo's just like, nope, 4's enough. That's really all they had. Super Mario Land doesn't count.
Did you need more? As a kid, did you need more?
Would you love for there to be that? Why do you think Mario Maker is so huge? Like that's the stuff. This game comes out, right? And people, this is what give people what they want. You know what I mean? Like they keep saying, we're gonna give you another 3D Mario. I don't want Super Mario Sunshine. I don't want to sit there with a Mario, all these features that Mario has, and you're gonna give me a jetpack that I have to squirt things with water. What about jumping on things? What about the exploration, the fun, right? Yeah, some people might have jumped on board with the 3D thing. I don't freaking follow that garbage.
Okay, but that's just you.
Right.
The trend in the industry was
But
3D.
now look at the trend. Now everything is retro. Everything is digital.
Of course.
You know,
and you knew that's where that was going to go.
pixelated
But you knew
and
that's where that was going to go.
I know, but it's just so unfortunate that there's. I just feel like if it wasn't for the 3D diversion, the games that we would have gotten, man. And New Super Mario Brothers, no, it's not the same thing. All that stuff. So.
I kind of. Why do we always end the show on a debate of video games?
Because the games ends. The games is the last section.
So. Well, look, I don't have the energy to get into another heated argument, or not. I'm sorry.
We
didn't argue. Actually, it was just a discussion.
Yeah, it was a discussion. But that's.
I agree.
There's nothing new to add to it. There's nothing new
to add to it. It's just you're right. That's it.
Like I would love for them to come out with, as much as you talk about stupid Breath of the Wild, I would love for them to come out with a top-down, true-to-form
Link to the Past
Zelda game.
Good. That's like my favorite. My favorite.
There's a simple simplicity, Chris, if you will.
That is true.
Of just strolling around a top view. You know what I mean? Walking around.
32-bit graphics.
What you see is what you get. No, like what's hiding behind this goofy thing if I go from this camera angle and stuff. No. The game is presented the way it's presented. Right. There's a certain type of style is attributed to that, and a certain type of
je ne sais quoi.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing is, you can play it one way. I can only approach this. I can approach this bush from this direction or this direction. Not like, what if I circled around it and checked it out, or like did this little thing, or use my shield to float on top of it and stuff. Stop.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Don't like 3D.
I just. There's
not into it.
It's. I live life in 3D, Chris. You know what I'm saying?
But you can't float on.
But that's what I want to do is just play like Adventure on the Atari 2600. You know what I mean? Where it's just the goofiest thing, and it's just what you see is what you get. There's no hidden meaning behind anything. There's no polygons. There's nothing weird. Things don't change shape depending on how you approach it. It is what it is, and that's all there is to it. There's somebody made this wonderful looking bush or this flame, and you animate it with all 3 frames of animation, and it looks freaking phenomenal. And it doesn't look any different if you approach it from the left, Chris. It doesn't look any different if you approach it from the right.
I can't. I have
you know what I mean?
to say to that,
and I understand like there's stuff where you like exploration, you like to go out there, and you like to explore, and it's real world. And hey, I'm going to explore Hyrule, right, as Link, and be 3D because I can't do that in real life. Yeah, that's totally cool. I get it, man. But there's nothing like that, first Legend of Zelda even, where you just go in the cage and you get out and those little sand things are spinning around and you find a dungeon, in the tree and you go down there and that's it. That's it. There's one way out of each room, and you go and you get through it and just
get your hearts, shoot your sword. I got you, man. I got you. All right, let's end on that note.
I'm good.
We hope you enjoyed
this
edition of Classic Blend. The full what do we call this thing?
This is a podcast. This is just a Classic Blend 73 podcast.
Get a little more in depth into what we talk about for the week.
This is probably how we should have been doing the podcast from the beginning.
Hey, listen, you live and you learn. You go 2 years into a show, you live and learn. But if you do want to check out any of those older episodes, obviously you can, all on iTunes or Google Play or any other MP3 areas.
If you want to see ugly mugs, YouTube.
Come to YouTube. We've been on. We're on the tube.
You want to watch this? If you're listening to this right now, you can see this.
You can see visually. It literally. This exact show.
You can see Chris wearing a Donkey Kong shirt.
That's right. I'm wearing a Donkey Kong shirt,
which is pretty awesome. And see, that's the thing. Do you think you can go to a store and find a Diddy Kong shirt right now? You can't, Chris.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing, is like everything just keeps going back. As much as they try to overhaul and to change, they can't do it because they just keep going back to that.
Because
And
it's good.
Awesome. And
it's good.
It's awesome.
But
that's all you need. And did we ever need more than that?
Well, look, I'm not. No, I'm not getting. I'm not.
No,
going down
I'm
this
just saying.
rabbit hole.
I'm just saying.
I'm not going
Yes or
down
no
the rabbit
question. No rabbit holes here. Just thank you for listening. Thanks for watching.
At Retro Squad on socials.
We'd like to have you come talk to us on the podcast.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I mean? If you watch this live on Twitch, let's say, and you want to come join us, maybe we'll invite one of our little characters out there.
Oh yeah.
Right? By characters, I mean people who come into the chat.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll invite you to just come on after reviewing this stuff, and you can record this with us.
Come on. That's it.
We'd like to have some of you guys on there.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the next episode of Classic Blend Podcast. See you next time.
He brings the energy up. We're trying to just ease it. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's just up and down.
We're trying to say, thank you so much for listening to this, and we're gonna see you next time.
ASMR.
No more ASMR.
Good night.
We've debated.
Good night.
I thought we discussed
It's
this.
my turn. I didn't get to do it. Okay. Good night.
Okay, we're gonna do it too. I've been waiting for you to do it again. All right, take care, guys.